I know to most die-hard college football fans, understanding the game of college football almost comes natural. Well, to me it does at least. Have you ever been watching the game beside someone who doesn't understand the rules or how the game works? I know I have, and quite frankly, it is kind of annoying. They are always asking, what happened? Or what does that mean? Or wait, how did the offense get the ball? That's why today I'm going to inform all of you on how the game of college football works, and hopefully make it easier for people who are not familiar with the game to be able to enjoy it. Not only will this make the game more entertaining for you, but also the fans that watch the game around you. There are three main ideas that one must grasp to fully understand the game, such as the origin of the game, the basic rules, and how conference alignment and team scheduling works. Now to the first idea. We must answer the question, how did the sport of college football come about? Well, it dates back all the way until November 6, 1869 at New Brunswick, New Jersey. Princeton and Rutgers took the field together to play a soccer-style game that they called football. The game of college football has evolved significantly since then. During the first ever college football game, there was no such thing as a referee officiating the game. The ball that was used was a round soccer-like ball, and the way the score was kept was totally different. Instead of going by multiples of 6, they just went by ones. The first ever game played that resembled the modern style of college football was between Harvard and a Canadian team called McGill University. College football became more and more popular, and the amount of injuries that were occurring was frightening. Just between the years of 1890 and 1905, 330 college athletes died due to football-related injuries. Because of this, Theodore Roosevelt scheduled a meeting with 13 of the largest football schools to try and make the game safer. But after hours and hours of not being able to come up with a solution themselves, they decided that an external group of people would be created to be in charge of college football. That is when the NCAA was formed, which stands for the National Collegiate Athletic Association. This association became in charge of everything about the game. They created the rules, what teams were allowed to join the association, and set up a set of rules determining what students would be allowed to participate in the sport. So it is clear that the sport of college football came about through many years of head scratching and strenuous thinking. Second, and equally important as the origin of college football, are the rules of the game and how it works. It is extremely crucial to have a good understanding of the rules in order to watch the game and be able to enjoy it. In college football, the NCAA College Football Rules Committee determines the playing rules for each division. 1, 2, and 3. Now let's get down to the basics. In college football, there are 11 men on offense. The offense's main goal is to get the ball down the field into the opponent's end zone, which in successfully doing so, the team will be rewarded with 6 points and will be given the option to kick an extra point worth 1 point or go for a 2-point conversion. The ball is placed on the 3-yard line for both of those options. The main goal of defense is to stop your opponent from getting into the end zone. On offense, you have 4 chances to move the ball 10 yards. If you fail, the ball will be turned over on downs. In Division I college football, teams yearn to reach the national championship by having the best record by the end of the season. An automated computer formula called the BCS determines who gets to play in the national championship by calculating certain statistics and records. And third, we must answer the question, how are different schools and different football teams grouped into conferences, and how do they determine what teams play each other? These schools are split up into 11 different conferences and play a certain number of games within them. Generally, you'll play either all of your conference opponents or at least most of them. Some conferences have 12 or more teams, so they split into divisions of 6. In most all of these conferences, there are 2 divisions, and teams on both sides of the divisions are ultimately competing for the conference championship. Each team plays 8 conference games a year, 4 home and 4 away. Except for the conference known as the Pac-12, they play non-conference games. The different conferences ultimately represent certain areas with schools of similar size and geography. But here recently, due to the amount of money being offered to some schools, it has been seen that the teams will join a conference even if it is not even if it does not geographically make sense. Clearly, these three important ideas show each person that in order to understand the game of football completely, one must know the origin, the basic rules, and how conference alignment and scheduling works. The next time you all are watching college football, think about the facts that we have talked about today. Reflect back on them and put them to use. I promise that with this knowledge, the game is easier to understand. Now, I brought a couple pictures, one of an original football helmet and another of an original football. As you can see, the game wasn't near as safe because the helmet was clearly not hard and sound as it was. No face mask. And the ball is completely round and doesn't resemble how a football is shaped today. Thank you.